broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Houston, Texas. It's time for Houston Business Radio. Now, here's your host.
Hello, Houston. Trisha Stetzel here, bringing you another episode of Houston Business Radio. Today, I have two amazing guests on with me, Josh Woodruff and Michelle Savage, co-authors and collaborators who bring clarity to the most complex and rapidly evolving areas in business today, cybersecurity and AI. I know, don't be scared. We're going to have a conversation around it. Josh comes from an engineering and cybersecurity background where he spent his career leading technical teams and helping professionals move forward without getting stuck in analysis paralysis. Michelle brings a background of journalism, research, and user experience, and currently leads UX at Pico, where she focuses on making complex ideas clear, accessible, and usable. Together, they have written a book that translates cybersecurity and emerging technologies like Agentic AI into plain language for business leaders, cutting through the noise, the jargon, and the overwhelm. What makes their work unique is the partnership, blending deep technical expertise with the ability to ask, but what does this actually mean for real people running real businesses? Josh and Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, so excited to have both of you on. All right, Michelle, I'm going to start with you. Tell us a little bit more about who you are.
Sure. My name is Michelle Savage. I currently lead a content design team at PayPal. Before that, I was a reporter, a tech journalist, a marketing expert, a dating column writer. All to say I've spent 20 years trying to explain very complicated things to people who have better things to do than read about complicated things. So I co-wrote this book with Josh because every time he was coming home from a cybersecurity conference or even from work with these wild AI stories, I kept thinking, why is no one explaining all of this in plain English? And it turns out at the time, nobody was doing it. So the book is us fixing that. And this is the book here, which we'll talk a little bit more about, but I'll pass it over to Josh.
Yeah, Josh, tell us more about you.
Great. Thank you, Trisha. Great to be here. Thanks for having us on. I'm Josh Woodruff. I'm founder and CEO of MassiveScale.ai. We do almost what you just described. We help accelerate the adoption of agentic AI without destroying your business, because it's tricky. My background is infrastructure operations and security at very massive scale, hence the name. And it was a pleasure to work with Michelle to write this book, Agentic AI plus Zero Trust. The plus is on purpose because it's a match made in heaven. It's more than just a word. It's a beautiful merge, and I look forward to talking about that. So thanks for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited about that. And by the way, if you guys are only listening, I'm going to encourage you to go over to the YouTube channel to see Michelle's background. It will answer so many questions for you because the answer is simple. All right, I want to dive into the origin story. Michelle, can I come to you first just for your perspective? I know you gave us a little bit of lead in how we got to the book, but tell us from your perspective how this book actually happened.
Sure. So Josh and I are married. We've been married for a long time. And as his partner, I have a sense when he's on to something. And sometimes he's not very clear about explaining it. So, sometimes he would come home from these security conferences and just start telling me about the agents, like the tech, but, then he would get into the stories. And when he was talking about the tech, I would kind of gloss over. I'm fairly technical, but that doesn't resonate as much as the stories do. But he'd come home and talk about like these companies that were losing $1 million because their AI had found some backdoor that nobody knew or thought about, or a bank approved, whose AI approved kind of loans that it shouldn't have because it noticed a pattern that the humans never intended it to notice. So the AI was doing what it was supposed to do, which was the great part, but then the humans weren't building it in the right way. And I just kept saying to him, are you writing this down? Are you telling people this in a way that they understand? Like, how is everybody not thinking about this right now? And kind of what started as a 3-hour interview for a blog post that we were thinking of writing turned into a book. And, we mostly wrote it on a family vacation to Rockaway Beach. I could tell you a lot of stories about that, but I won't go too much into that. But I will tell you, our twin teenagers were there, and they pretty much rolled their eyes the entire time at us and said that they're never going to touch AI again, thanks to us and our family vacation. But what came out of it was a book that I think every business leader needs to understand this stuff. And I think this book is really valuable for that.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for that. And Josh, when you and I talked a few weeks back, one of the notes that I took is that this was supposed to be a podcast or something like a blog post. And it just turned into a book because it became such a, I'm going to use the word massive piece of work that it all needed to go into a book. So Josh, from your perspective, how did this all start? Were you open to the idea that Michelle wanted to interview you about this?
I thought it was a great idea. And Michelle mentioned the 3-hour interview. It started as just 30 minutes. Like, let's just sit down for 30 minutes. And she was like, you got to get this. Let me help you get the message out. She's with her background in journalism and writing. I was like, great. Like I struggle to put it across in plain language, and she always beats me up if I say things that don't make sense. So we started out with 30 minutes. Let's record it, and I'm going to write a blog post from this. And literally, like, neither of us noticed until 3 hours later that, wait, it's been 3 hours. Like, what? There's a lot to say.
Our kids noticed.
The teenagers noticed.
Yes, and I've never written a book before, Trisha. I was like, I don't even know where to start. And Michelle says, I do. That's her expertise. And she's a pioneer of AI herself. She's driven the adoption and global expansion of AI at a number of companies, primarily the one she's at now. So she's a leader there. She's just as much of a fangirl of AI as I am. So I think that also helped when the energy between us, where it was like, well, I know the tech and the security side. And she's like, well, I know the business transformation side, and I know how to communicate this in an effective way. So we said, yeah, let's write the book. And I just kept talking to her about different stories and what I'm seeing. And she kept telling me to break it down to plain language and stop using jargon and buzzwords. And we created the book.
I think that's amazing. So Michelle, is this the first time that the two of you have worked together or collaborated on something?
Something this big. I mean, we're our industries kind of collide, so we talk about this stuff a lot. And I've helped him with his social media before, and I've helped him with blog posts, but nothing like writing a full book.
Okay, so being partners in life and partners in business now on this bigger piece of work, how did that feel? Was it any different than the smaller things you had done together?
Well,
okay, Josh giggled. Yeah, tell him.
What do I want to say here?
I mean, Michelle talked about that. The bulk of it was done during a vacation, and we would, just to get away and have focus time, we started to go to like Starbucks at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning.
Okay.
And we'd write and we'd talk and we'd collaborate, and I would find myself writing what I thought was a masterpiece. And for a paragraph or a chapter, and then the next day she was like, "Okay, I edited it," and I would look at him like, "Oh my god, like this is wrong. Like how could you have interrupted my masterpiece?" But she was right. She was trying to make it in plain language, and so it was kind of this back and forth of tell it in a story, to make it character driven. But I was adamant about trying to keep it accurate as far as it comes to cybersecurity and technology. So that kind of back and forth created some interesting conversations in Starbucks. But I think at the end of it, I have to say, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed the creative aspect of it. Like the kind of going through the process and doing all this. When I stepped back and saw what we had created together, I was like, wow, that was actually really cool. I was surprised by how much that creative process was. I had a lot of great gratitude for it.
And it
Amazing.
was, I'll just add to that. It was a lot of fun too. We were in Rockaway Beach. Our daughter was surfing in the morning. We would go down there and watch her surf and then go to Starbucks and work. And sometimes we'd have great conversations. Sometimes we would completely disagree about stuff. I mean, I remember one point I slammed my laptop closed because I was like, you don't even know what you're talking about. None of this is making sense. And I went up to the counter and they're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. We're just talking about AI agents. They're like, what's that? I'm like, well, let me tell you. So it was a lot of fun also.
I love that. I'm so glad that you're both very pleased with the final product. So Michelle, why was it so important that the book come in plain language for business owners?
I think because when everyone thinks about, or at least last year, when people were just starting to talk about agentic AI, people weren't really grasping what it meant. They were thinking, oh yeah, I need AI security so I don't have a data breach. I don't want hackers, like the dramatic stuff. And the reason we were writing the book was not even fully about that. Like it's a lot of it is about the systems that you need to set up to build trust and to keep your reputation. Like if you forget about the breach for a second and you think about all the 1,000 small little cuts an AI can make if they don't have rules, and that completely can erode your trust with your customers over time. And like just to break it down into, imagine you're any small business owner anywhere in the world, and you have a customer service AI agent that's saying something that contradicts what your sales team said. And then you have a pricing agent that's giving customers like a different price than another agent, and a scheduling agent that sends reminders at 2:00 in the morning. And they're not using the language that even sounds like your brand anymore because you didn't set it up that way. So none of these are a breach and none of them are going to make the news. But over time, your customers are really feeling this. They start losing confidence in you. They can't even really tell you why. It's just little small things. And eventually they stop coming back. So, rules aren't always about the big catastrophic failures. I think they're about being consistent and showing up in a consistent way. And that's why I thought the zero trust was a really important aspect. Zero trust is all about security, but it also nails all of that. So that's kind of why I was thinking that it was important to break it down into simple language so that anybody could understand it, even if they knew nothing about AI.
Yeah, absolutely. So Josh, I know you felt like, or you talked about during the process, some of your language was coming out because we were making it in plain English and some of the jargon was coming out. Tell me, let's geek for a minute, like the technical aspect for you, where this all began when Michelle said, I think you're onto something. So tell me more about the beginning, and it's okay to geek out and use some jargon because I've got some techies that listen to the show.
Excellent. Well, I wanted to piggyback first on something Michelle said. I think another point that ignited both of us as to why we wanted to write this for business leaders. It's just the sheer value an organization can get out of the use of AI, and specifically agentic AI. How it can it's a multiplier. It's an amplifier. So, you hear it 10x's your people. It really does, and it can. In fact, it can 100x your people. So, as a business owner and a business leader, you can really get more done. Your people can get more done. And I really despise what you hear in the market of it's replacing jobs, and that's just the wrong frame. It amplifies jobs. So you've got good people on your team. Give them these tools and these capabilities, and they will be even better people. It's an augmentation play. It's not a replacement play. And I think the market gets that wrong significantly. Or it's just a use for overhiring from COVID that they're using to lay people off. But there is so much. The reason we did the book, there's so much value to be had. And I think Michelle saw that, and I was seeing that. Michelle mentioned zero trust. That was previously when I worked for a company, I was a CISO, a chief security officer. And when I discovered the zero trust strategy of security, it made so much sense to me. And I think one of the big differentiators with zero trust, it's a business aligned security strategy. It's first of all, within security, we never really had a clear strategy. Everybody kind of knew the things to do, and I need vulnerability management, I need to do patching, I need to secure access. This was the first real clear prescriptive way to go about developing a cybersecurity strategy. And it was the first and foremost, it's business aligned. So the first question you ask with Zero Trust is what are the business objectives? What is the business trying to do? Let's break down all of the things needed for the business to get that done, and let's stack rank them by criticality of their importance to get the stuff done. And then let's take the most critical thing and secure that. And then take the next most critical thing and secure that. And they use fancy terms like it's a protect surface. And your listeners, if they know cyber or they've heard of an attack surface, that's probably more common. And what's an attack surface? It's everything. Like it's literally everything is an attack surface. How do you secure everything? Like how do you eat an elephant? Is one bite at a time. Mm-hmm. So Zero Trust inverts a number of things, and one of them, it inverts the concept of attack surface to protect surface. One thing at a time. Which thing do you start with? The thing that's most critical for your business to achieve its objectives. And you break them down into smaller units and you iterate. And there's a very clear 5-step process. So it's a great way to start where it matters and iterate and build momentum and really strengthen your risk posture that enables the business and enables velocity. It enables innovation. And that's where the match with Zero Trust is perfect. Well, there's really the match with Agentic AI is perfect. And there's really two reasons for that. To get a little bit geeky here, Zero Trust is an identity-based security model. It doesn't depend on where you are and where the request is coming from. Like, is it within the office? Is it inside the protected zone where we have implicit trust? Oh, if you're on the inside, you're in the corporate office, I trust your request. It removes that because offices are all over the place now, and we have cloud and we have SaaS and we have remote workers. Where you are is no longer a good indicator of what policy you apply. What matters more is who you are. It's an identity-based policy. So you don't ask where you're coming from, you ask, who are you? And you, as this identity that I know you are you allowed to make this request? Am I allowed to let you do the thing you're trying to do? That applies perfectly to Agentic AI because Agentic AI operates as a non-human identity. So if you apply an identity-based security model to a non-human identity, which is an AI agent, it's a match made in heaven. You can kind of leverage and build all the policy you've already built for humans. It does need some adaptation for the non-human, for the AI agent. And to Michelle's point, a lot of the guardrails are needed. So that's one reason why it's a perfect fit. I think the other reason is that iterative nature I talked about. It's one piece at a time. It's enabling the business. If you can do that coupled with Agentic AI, not only are you enabling the business with strong security, you're enabling the business with a 100x multiplier. So it's a perfect match.
I love this. So I think we hit on both the plain language and the geeky technical stuff there. Michelle, what do you have to add? And then also tell us where we can find the book, please.
Yes, absolutely. You have a techie audience. You probably also have a non-techie audience. And I realized we jumped into this without even saying what an AI agent actually is. And a lot of the business owners that we talked to, or business leaders, didn't understand that. Like people were thinking about it just as they think about Claude or ChatGPT. Chat, you ask it something and it answers, and that's it. But an AI agent, and both ChatGPT and Claude have agents now, is way different. An AI agent isn't something that's waiting for you to ask. You give it a job and it goes and does it, and it reports back, or sometimes doesn't report back at all and just keeps doing the job. And it's really like, when you get down to it, it's the difference between having a calculator and having an employee working for you. A calculator is going to wait for you, and you're going to push the buttons. An employee comes in and starts working based on what it knows. And right now, AI agents are booking flights, they're approving loans, they're handling customer complaints, they're adjusting prices for you. And a lot of times there's no human saying, go do this or don't do that. And that's incredible. And that's why the rules are so important, and the systems are so important, and why security has to be the first thing that people do when they're creating an agent. So I just want to add that because I think it's missing.
Thank you for doing that. And it's all coming together for me. Agentic AI plus Zero Trust. You shouldn't have one without the other so that we can continue to be good. So tell us where to find the book, Michelle.
This is our book, Agentic AI plus Zero Trust. It's a guide for business leaders, and it's for techies and non-techies, and you can find it on Amazon right now.
On Amazon. Okay, I love it. And I'm assuming that you're both listed as authors on Amazon, so you guys can just look up Josh Woodruff or Michelle Savage as authors for that book and grab it. So Josh, I know there are people who are listening today that want to connect with you guys and do some more discovery. So where's the best place to go find more information about the two of you?
Sure. Yeah, and I'm on LinkedIn all the time, so you can find me on LinkedIn. It's just /Josh Woodruff, or you could just search. But you can always reach out to me by email. Josh@massivescale.ai is one way. I also would recommend folks, if they're interested in this and want to see what it looks like and go through a bit of tools on a website that's completely free, they can go to agentictrustframework.ai. We introduce that framework in the book, the Agentic Trust Framework, and it's Zero Trust adapted to Agentic AI. It's just like the book, it's 5 very simple questions, very plain language questions. It's who are you? It's what are you doing? Where are you going? What are you eating and what are you serving? Which is data inputs, data outputs. And what if you go rogue? Because you will go rogue. They do go rogue. And so you need a kill switch and you need incident response. So 5 very plain language questions that if you can't answer any one of them, you immediately know where your gap is when you're implementing agentic AI. And there's all kinds of technical implementation detail behind each of these 5 questions. If you go to agentictrustframework.ai, there's a free assessment you can take there. And it gives you a scorecard, ranks you, it's about 30 questions. It gives you a PDF and a radar chart. Totally free. You have to provide your email to get it. So that's another great place to reach us. And I would say, just on this concept of the 5 simple questions, and something Michelle said about explaining not only what agentic AI is, but what zero trust is. I think there's hardly 2 terms in the world that are so misunderstood and ambiguous than these 2 terms. So that's the other reason I think we thought we needed the book, is agentic AI needs to be broken down very simply. Generative AI is what people know, ChatGPT or Claude or others. It answers the question. Agentic AI it's an LLM. It's a large language model like GPT or Claude, and it's given a goal and a tool, and it runs in a loop until it determines it's achieved the goal that you gave it. That's an AI agent. So we explain that quite simply. And then zero trust, I have to tell you, within the security community, once AI became the latest shiny object that everybody's rushing to and raising their hand, and all the vendors are saying, me too, I do AI, we were so relieved, because within the zero trust community, we could finally get back to actually doing what zero trust was really meant to do, because it was the shiny object for so many years. It was the thing that vendors were slapping on their product. Vendors were trying to sell you zero trust. Zero trust is a strategy. It's not a product. You can't buy it. But if you listen to the vendors, they'll tell you all day long they're going to sell you zero trust. So it's completely misunderstood. So that was another reason why we wrote the book, is we break both of these things down to just common sense, plain language, what they really are, and then we show how they match.
I love that. Thank you, Josh. So Michelle, for the listeners who may be peeling back the onion here, they just don't know, they've not heard of these things before, or maybe they're very technical. How do I know if I need the book or not?
I mean, I think everyone's feeling it right now. Like everyone from the CEO to the CISO to the small business owner, everyone feels like they haven't quite figured this out. I think if people are saying they're real experts, even us, we've done so much research, but things are changing so much. Like, how can anyone call themselves an expert right now? I think it's just that some people are admitting it and some people aren't. So I think everybody needs to be paying attention right now. Like there's so much happening, and there's so much competitive edge that businesses can get. You hear a lot of things about people wanting to use fewer AI employees due to AI, and like 41% of companies are going to be hiring fewer people. But then you also hear people saying, oh, AI agents are going to give me this huge competitive edge, and that's going to happen within 12 months. Those are really competing things. I think people need to be educating themselves on it and learning about what the possibilities are, what they need to get there, and how their strategy needs to come together. And this book is really a great starting point for anybody, technical or non-technical.
I love that. Thank you, Michelle. And I'm even thinking about, there are sets of AI agents now that you can hire as a solo business owner. And I'm thinking to myself, gosh, this would be a great book to really understand, number one, what's happening in the background with this set of agents that a business owner has hired, and the cybersecurity problem that you could possibly have if you're not strategic about the way you're hiring these agents into your solo business. Oh my goodness, I love this. So exciting. So Josh, I have one last question for you. Our time has gone by so fast, but if we've got a listener who feels behind on AI or cybersecurity, what do you feel is one simple step they can take this week to move forward with confidence?
It's a great question. I mean, of course, I'd say reading the book is good, but some people are faster or slower at that than others, and some feel like it's a lot of homework. So I think a real quick, easy step is just talk with your teams and find out what your company is using today. Michelle and I talk to a lot of different companies, and I'm in the Cloud Security Alliance Zero Trust Working Group. Also, IANS Research, I'm a faculty member there. So I talk to so many different companies across public and private sector, all different verticals. And there's a lot of them that are kind of in denial. They say, well, I've blocked it. We don't let this yet. We don't know how to secure it, or we're afraid of it. Guaranteed, every company has it. Your people are using this. So something you do today or tomorrow or this week is just talk to your folks. Like, hey guys, anybody using AI? And even if it's not allowed, we talk a lot about this in the book, about hold an amnesty week. Like, if you're using it, if we said don't use it and you're using it, you're not going to get penalized, no punishment. We just want to know what people are using this for so that we can help enable you to do this securely without destroying the business. So you kind of have to come at it from a supportive and enabling mindset. But I would say that's the first thing, and we encourage all of the customers we work with. First thing you should do, talk to your teams, find out what they're using, find out how they're using it. Because leaders and business owners that are listening to this, there is no better people to tell you how you should be using AI than your people, the boots on the ground. They're the ones that are getting the value out of this, whether you know it or not. And you need to listen to what they're using it for. So talk with your people, see what they're using, see how they're using it, and enable them, because they will do better work.
Thank you.
Can I add one small thing to
Michelle,
that?
please, yes.
Yeah. So when you're doing that, that's a great exercise, and Josh does that in his workshops, and it works really well. But read what your AI is actually saying to your customers, because everyone has this customer-facing AI agents now, and they're not reading what the emails are saying, what the chat responses are saying. Do they even match? So take them, read them out loud. Ask your employees to kind of do a deep dive. Do they sound like your company? Are they using your brand language? Most business owners haven't done that yet, and I think that AI is speaking for you every day on your behalf, and you need to be listening.
Yes, that's so important. We can't just let something go do its loop without the human needs to be in the loop, right?
Yeah, exactly.
In the loop. Oh my goodness. Michelle, tell us one more time and show us that beautiful book that you guys have. Tell us where we can get it.
Yep, absolutely. Agentic AI plus Zero Trust. I feel like a spokesperson now. You can buy it on Amazon.
Beautiful. Josh Woodruff and Michelle Savage, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. This has been awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tricia. Pleasure to be here.
Bye.
All right, you guys, that's all the time we have for this show today. If you found value in this conversation that I had with Michelle and Josh, please share it with a fellow entrepreneur, veteran, or Houston leader ready to grow. Be sure to follow, rate, and review the show. Of course, it helps us reach more bold business minds just like yours and your business. Your leadership and your legacy are built one intentional step at a time. So stay inspired, stay focused, and keep building the business and the life you deserve.